to be. Walter Smith was at Dundee United. It was innovation at Dundee United all through. It was Jerry Kerr that signed him. You know, the Jerry Kerr stand where you sit with your knees up to your chin, that kind of the L-shaped room of Scottish football up at Tannadice, named after a guy who started pushing them to get to catch up with Dundee and become the premier club in the city. This is a team we're playing tomorrow, and the club we're playing tomorrow night. They beat Barcelona in the Fairs Cup and all that. Just at the time Walter arrived as a player in the kind of 67, I think it was, at Tannadice, and Walter himself knew he wasn't that great a player. He wasn't very fast, he wasn't particularly skillful, but he knew what he was good at. He was strong, he was determined, and he had a tactical nous about him, and he was determined to make a career out of football. And as soon as possible, he get into the coaching side of things. He was always really Archie Knox was a good pal of his. He played with him at Dundee United and all that, and there's other boys there that they were into the coaching side of things. So Jim McLean brings in Walter to help with youth teams and that when Walter's injured, and played a lot of games for that. I've seen it said that Walter Smith played more games for Dundee United reserves than anybody else. I don't know if that's true or not, but it's certainly an urban myth. It's a legend. It might be an urban myth, but it's it might also be a cold hard fact, because what he's doing is he's coaching younger players when he's having to go back into the reserves because he's had an injury or that. He's coaching younger players, and then Jim McLean told him that when he come back for a few injuries, that's not what you're right as a player now. And Walter Smith loved telling that story. So you might as well join me in the coaching side of things. But he was also coaching Scotland under 18s. And you've seen the videos. You know the stuff about Walter Smith. Barry hasn't been doing any of that. And this is Jim McLean takes over from Jerry Kerr at Dundee United, and Jim McLean starts. If you're my age, it's a legendary story. He starts. They got a fitness coach, and David Ancelotti. Sports science just wasn't a thing in those days, and Dundee United did do this. They got the fitness coach in and told the players. Famously, Jim McLean wanted to stop. He wanted all the players who played for Dundee United to stay in Dundee because they'd been travelling to other parts of the country. And he's saying when they're on I always remember Jim McLean saying this. I knew that when they're on the train or the bus going from their home, maybe Glasgow or whatever, up to Tannadice and back, they're drinking Coca-Cola and ginger and all that, and they're having crisps and Mars bars and things. I want to be able to control their diets and just basically get everything they can out of the cheaper end of the player market. They're just finding these ways these little inches they could find to get ahead. So it's very innovative at the D-United. Whereas Barry today is talking about, Scottish players, are much better than anybody gives them credit for. Scottish managers are much better than anybody gives us credit for.